Okay, this month we have been working on a series of really trying to understand how God seeks to talk to us. And the first week we spoke about dreams, which is the literal nighttime dreams, where Spirit can talk to us through our subconscious mind. Then we talked about signs, how sometimes an outer sign can validate an inner urge, or actually an outer sign can stimulate an inner urge. And this is a way of Spirit reaching out to us as well. Then last week, Patrick did a fabulous service on the cosmic 2x4, which very few people could relate to. And you really should see it. It was very fabulous. How we deal with our wake-up calls. And we do need our wake-up calls, don't we? If we haven't done the first two, yes, we do. So it was wonderful. And again, we're dealing with how does God talk to us? How does Spirit talk to us? So today I wanted to talk to you about the DSL, and that is the direct spirit line. It is that energy where you know and then you go. You know and you go. It's not an urge that you get to play with. It's not an idea you get to think about. It is an energy that comes through you, and when it comes through you, it's in ownership. You own it at that moment. Whether you can decipher it or not, it's something that you own. And I know that everyone has had this experience at one moment or another in your life, maybe only once, maybe only a couple of times, but we have it because everybody is capable of listening to Spirit directly. Everybody has that capacity. So, in order to really own it totally, you have to cultivate it. This is a talent that has to be worked at. Agreed? Mm-hmm. All right. So, in order to activate it, you have to be willing to follow it. By right of vibration, who you are, if you do not want it, you will not get it. If you want to stay in your own mind and your own thoughts and make your own decisions, anybody been a teenager? We go through phases where we do not want any outside idea, thought, or anything telling us what's up. We want to make our own decisions. As adults, if we stay in that space, then it actually requires divine intervention or a time of desperation to open up the channel for you. When we're really stuck in needing to do it our way, it requires divine movement. So, when you ask, we start this process very simply. There are little things that we do along the way. But when you do a prayer and you're asking for something specific and you say, whatever is for my highest and best good. Have you been taught to do that when you pray? I would like a new car, this specific one, but whatever's for my highest and best good. You know, you kind of tag that on at the tail end. I'd like it to be blue, 4-door, blah, 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 blah. And whatever's for my highest and best. You see, so you've opened the little door for God, just a little bit, to come in and maybe perhaps give you something that would suit your desires more specifically, more in alignment with what you're going to need, instead of what you think you need. You see? So just asking for that one little thing opens the door for the divine energy to flow. And then it becomes a process. But that's a good first start. That creates a space for God. That creates a space. But the DSL comes in those moments when you actually desire to talk to God. When you desire to communicate with God. Have you felt that desire in your body?
Yes.
Good. Some of us, it takes a while. Some of us go walking around our way just knowing God's got our back and we don't worry about it. But for most of us, there comes a time when we want to touch. We want to reach up. And unfortunately for a lot of us, it comes in two very common ways. One way is when every single door around us is closed. When our will self, our ego self, our who I am in this world self, cannot open a door. When we have tried everything we know and cannot make it work. Then, do we want to talk to God? Oh yeah, we want to talk to God a lot. So that'll put us there. The other thing that they were saying was that the other common way that you get to this point is through loneliness. you become so lonely that you realize the really only true source of love is God. And you become so lonely when you are surrounded by people who love you. But the love feels so conditional that you just cannot deal with the conditions any longer. Even though there may be love all around you, it is not what feeds your soul. And then you turn to the source of love, God. And I'm not saying there isn't love in the people around you, but you don't see it, you can't perceive it. It looks conditional to you. And most adults have been to that state of loneliness, have you not? I know women are nodding their heads. Do men?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Where you just feel like, I just need the purest love to feed me now. And this is when we open. It doesn't matter what takes us there, it matters that we open. And we are now asking to talk to God. We're asking. So we surrender our will, and the first step is, let go of my life being a certain way. You know, we all want to, like Job in the Old Testament, he wanted to talk to God, to tell God what was up. You know, he had this whole list of complaints of what God did not know he'd been going through, and he wanted to make sure God knew. The first thing that we do when we open up to talk to God is to eliminate my way and just be open to listen, to hear whatever needs to be said. It's an easy step. And then we surrender to the concept that God, your higher self, your angels, however you want to define spirit, knows more than you do. You have to surrender to that there is a greater awareness than I myself can possibly hold about me right now. This allows you to open. And then being willing to follow what you get is your third step. So, releasing will that it be a certain way, knowing somebody knows better than I. Isn't that a comforting thought? I love the hats that came out about 20 years ago, God is in charge. It was quite the new thing. Now it's common. But isn't it comforting to know God is in charge? Isn't it comforting to know I've got a spiritual team that has my back, that wants me to succeed? So, let's say you want this life to get better, and you know you can't make it happen. Now you're ready for your DSL. You're ready for your direct spirit. You don't have to come there by trauma. You can come there by choice. I want my life better, and I do not know how to make it happen. So now I am now opening for that downpour of spirit. I wanted to share just a few little things in the Aquarian. This is right before Jesus is leaving the planet. Do you know that he withheld a lot of information till the end? If you've ever read any of the doctrine. And then he shared it with the three right before Gethsemane, or actually in Gethsemane. And then he was trying to share it at the what we call the Last Supper. He's trying to give them a download of information that he knows they cannot understand. But I wanted to share one thing that he says about the Holy Spirit. He says, if I go, there's going to be a spirit that comes, and through this spirit, you will know all things. He said, this spirit will teach you more and more and bring to your remembrance all that I have said. It will teach you the mysteries of the soul, mysteries of life and death, and of immortality. It will teach you that oneness of a man with every other man, that of the oneness of man with every other man and with his God. Pretty cool energy to leave with his followers. There is greater knowledge, there is greater energy that is available to you. And you can be taught. You can be taught. So, what I share with you now is from my experience and my understanding. Spirit always works with the details. Did you know that? Spirit has the details. They have eyes on everything. And when you're following your guidance, you're following these downloads, you know you are not in it alone. I remember, again, 20 years ago, there was a movie that came out. It was cutting edge technology movie, spy movie. And this guy went into a building and the guys in the truck saw everything. First time I'd ever seen anything like that. Commonplace today, yes? They knew every door, they knew where every person was, they had eyes on everything. And they're guiding him through an earpiece. Well, this is 20, 25 years ago. I was so excited. I looked at Patrick and I said, that's how I am with spirit. I'm just the arms and legs. They're telling me everything. They're telling me every turn to make. They're telling me everywhere to go. That's the connection that you can have because they see everything. Easy concept, right? Spirit also has all knowledge. They will teach everything. Greater wisdom, greater understanding. Have you ever been stumped? And you ask for that? And it comes to you? And it comes to you like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It comes to you like a download, like a direct connection. And sometimes there are words and sometimes there are not. It just comes. And energy comes over you and there's knowing in that energy. And the other thing that Spirit does is it puts you on your purpose. When you follow that spiritual download, you are never taken to a place that is outside of your divine expression. You are always on purpose with you. And when you're on purpose, what do you feel? You feel fulfilled. You're fulfilled. So Spirit sees, directs, and gives you knowledge. All right, let's talk about the layers. We talked about the urges, and we know the cosmic 2x4. The first thing is we've got to follow those urges. Following the urges is Spirit reaching to us. Then we have to reach back to Spirit. And we start with things that we want to know, don't we? When we're starting to grow our capacity to download, we start with things that are curious to us. So we might ask about something. Show me about this. Should I do this or should I not do this? How many of you have been applying for a job? Should I take that job or take this job? And you get into that and you don't know and they both look good. And so you go in your heart, you do your prayer and you say, should I or shouldn't I? And then a lot of people will start hearing all the voices. Oh, the voice told me. Voices, you have a lot of voices in your head. Do you know that? Yes. But do you know whose voices they are? They're yours, they're your parents, they're your bosses, they're your spouses, they're what will the neighbors think. They are the TV voices. They are all the voices of how do I act in the world, the voices that keep you safe in the world. What will they think of me if I do this? It's going to be too hard. It's all these different complexities that you deal with on an earthly level. When the voices start yapping at you, turn them off. Because that is not Spirit. How you hear the answer from Spirit is you go into your heart. And there's a very gentle feeling. And you may not get in the beginning a great download. You may not get a great knowing that you know. It may be just a simple flow of the heart center that's soft and warm. And you feel comforted. It may be a flow in the heart that you feel excited. I'm excited about this. And would that be a yes? That would be a yes. It may feel constricted and tight and unworried and like this. And what would that be? Do you want to go where you feel constricted and tight? You know? So we start by listening to the heart center. Start by feeling the energy of the vibration of what our answer is. And when we feel the flow and the openness, we go. And when we feel the tightness, we put it aside. But you know what most of us will do? I didn't get that, do it again. They'll ask and ask and ask and ask and ask until they're so confused they don't know what to do. And then they go back to the voices. And then we never have that growth. We never have that quantum leap. We never have that really moving into a space that is for us, that keeps us on our purpose. And then what I'm talking to you about now is helping you grow your direct contact. Growing the direct contact. Spirit will always take you to joy. So your heart will always feel that sweetness. You also ask and then give space for the answer. You know the old scripture, wait upon the Lord? Sometimes it doesn't come immediately. Sometimes it comes when you're not looking. Sometimes it comes 2 weeks later. But it will come. if you've asked. If you ask and say, God, I really would like guidance on this and I'm not doing anything without it, do you think it's going to come? It's going to come. Because you've made the commitment not to do anything without it. All right. And Spirit has all the details. What's happening to the details? They're being prepared for you. Stuff is moving behind the scenes that you can't yet see. So, moving into that space of knowing does take a little bit of effort and a little bit of work. Once you feel more comfortable trusting the energy you feel, that's your first thing. Trust the energy, the expansion. Your download may come in words. It may come in feeling. It'll come in a way that you can understand. And you know when it's happening that you're being filled with knowledge. And if you know you're being filled with knowledge. So meditation will always open the way. You can go, and sometimes you'll get a download in meditation. Oftentimes we'll get one as we're walking around, as we're taking a shower, driving somewhere. Because our mind is not seeking it. It's not this track seeking information. It's more relaxed looking at the cars, but because we've asked, it's open and the energy can come through us. I used to always have a pen by my side in the car, trying to scratch on anything that was near me to write down what I had just gotten. I tried a tape recorder for a while because I was always getting downloads in the car. Turn the tape recorder on. I've written on so many Kleenex boxes and anything that's there, so I don't lose what just came. Do you all have that experience? Good. All right. The one thing about the download, they always will give you something you can understand. You know, we hear about people who are working on some particular issue, a scientist on an invention, or someone writing, or someone working on something that's theirs to do, and they hit a block. But if they step away and put it down and come back, the information's right there. It comes through them instantly. They know instantly what to do. This is what happens with the information within us. We can receive what we are willing to use, and we can receive what we are capable of receiving. I'm probably not going to get a download on some great scientific invention because my brain is not wired that way. I have no database for that. Do you understand? But am I going to get a download on spiritual understanding and interpretation of Bible scriptures? Yeah. I'll get a download on reading energy. I'll get a download on everything that's my area. I probably would not get a download on something that is not. That's why it's so important for us to open to receive greater right where we are. You know, you don't have to get the answer that saves the world. You get the answer that helps you move forward. So every service that we do here, every class that we teach, every Tuesday night, everything that we do, we open and ask, and this is among all of us that work here, we ask for Spirit to give us information. We don't want to teach what we already know. We want to teach what we all can learn together. We want Spirit to give us greater insights and greater information to share so that we can live together. And that's really our goal at Inner Quest, that we become such deep and great channels, great connection with Spirit, that we can all lift our own knowing to that higher realm and that higher space. And the thing about knowing, the thing about getting the knowing, it is so certain, so clear, you don't even have to understand in that moment what you got, because you know you got something. It's just that powerful. It's just that powerful. I believe when Jesus said, all things I do, you can do and greater, it wasn't just the healings, and it wasn't just the manifestation. It was the walking one with God. It was the walking knowing one with God. You know? I could tell you stories upon stories of downloads. We all have them. We all have them. But recently, Patrick and I are being featured in a program, a local TV show, the Atlanta Interfaith Broadcasting TV network. It's on spiritual couples. And the woman who's doing it called this past week, and she wanted some still photos. Okay, to add to the piece. So she said, why don't you send me pictures of where you've been, where you've traveled? And I said, okay. So I found little snips of pieces. And I thought, well, I'll send her some pictures of Scotland. We went to Callanish in Scotland in 2011. I'll send her some shots of that. And I couldn't find my Scotland pictures anywhere. So we sent her the few that we had, and I looked and looked, and I couldn't find them, and I was like somewhat concerned. I never misplaced anything. I just can't remember where I placed things. So as I'm looking for something else, yesterday afternoon, I found my pictures of Scotland. And I booted them up and looked at them, and I was amazed. I had forgotten Scotland. Patrick had taken pictures of me working. And just so you remember, Scotland was the trip where I was approached by Spirit 2 years earlier, and they asked me to go with Susan Coffey and to do some work there. And I had to go by May 2011, and I agreed. And so May 2011, we're going to Scotland. And several times during the course of the planning of the trip, Susan said, do you know what we're doing yet? I said, no, I don't. I haven't gotten the download. And here we are going across the big ocean up to the northern part of Scotland, out in the boonies, away from everyone. And we still don't know why. So he had pictures of me the first day we made it to Callanish, talking to the stones. And I saw and remembered that work that I had done that was totally out of my mind. It was totally forgotten. I saw the sweetest spirit standing there. It was freezing. It was so cold. I would take off one glove and touch a stone and read it, and then put that back on and take off the other one and touch the next stone and read it, and put that. It was so cold. Northern Scotland, oh, you must layer. But I saw this sweetest spirit, and I walked to every stone and talked to them. I got their story, I introduced myself, I talked to the energy of the people who created that place so many eons ago. And I remember even that first day I still did not know what we were going to do. But I just walked and let Spirit guide. It was a beautiful moment. And as I looked at the pictures, I loved her. I loved that girl who would do that, who would trust her God so deeply to go. I'd forgotten that girl. I'd forgotten the work she did. And then the next day, we were told what to do, and we went back and we did our work, our service work. But I had to do the connecting with every stone first. Now, you may not be asked to go across the world. Maybe that's not your work to do, but it certainly is mine. I read energy. It certainly is my work to do, you see? Your work may be something totally different. It may be the scientist. It may be the artist. It could be anything. But the more you allow that divine light to move through the construct of your knowledge base, the greater the download can be. The greater the download can be. So that everything you need an answer for comes to you. Everything. And this is when we truly walk with God. When we know that we can know if we ask. We don't have to stay in a state of not functioning on the earth. We still function on the earth. That's what these gifts are about. They're about enhancing the earth. They're about us enhancing the earth. If we were not to do that, we wouldn't be here. We'd be on the other side playing. It's such a great space to feel that touch that expands your light in your life. I really thought, when I was guided to do this service, I thought, well, this is going to be so easy for me. That's just going to be so easy. It's not. It's challenging to encourage you to take this step. It's challenging for me to tell you the wondrous feeling I feel when I'm touched. I live for that. I live for those touches. I live for that. The love that flows through me, the light, the knowledge, it is so fulfilling to my spirit. And each of us has that. We did not come to walk alone. We can get acquainted with the dudes in the van, the ones that want to direct us. We can talk to our angels and guides and teachers. We can talk to that light. We can know greater. We can be greater. And that's the direct spirit line. It connects us with our guides, our teachers. It fulfills us. It connects us with spirit. And do you think, as you read the scriptures, if you're reading the New Testament or the Aquarian Gospel or anything about Jesus Christ, do you think he walked without it? Do you not think he just went within and it was automatically there in every moment? And yet, did he not have fun? Did he not go to dinners and parties? Did he not play and enjoy life with people? Yeah. And he is our example, to live that heaven, that connection with heaven, while still enjoying the earth plane. Heaven on earth. Yeah. All right, well, let's go within. Let's just take all this information into our consciousness. God, I ask that your light just pour over this gathering. I see their hearts and I honor their spirits. And I know that each is a divine child. I ask that they be blessed now with your presence and truth. And I would invite each one of you just to feel a beautiful column of light coming over you. And as it does, it just holds you in your own sacred space. You kind of lose your awareness of the people on either side. And just be in this beautiful light. And I want you to feel yourself just being lifted up, just very gently. Lifting into a higher consciousness, a higher space. Lifting up. And as you move, feel as you come into a beautiful plane where the vibration is slightly different. And you are entering the space of truth. Feel the energy of this space. For some of you it may feel dense, for some light. The colors will be different. Feel truth for a moment. Stand in that energy and just feel it. It may seem simple, it may seem complex. Just acclimate yourself. But in all of the energy you feel, you know there is the presence of Spirit. And as you stand in this space, I want you to call forth truth for me, and feel light coming through the crown chakra and moving through your body. I call forth truth for me and my journey. And just feel the energy beginning to pour in through the top of the head, down through the body. And notice the vibration, the color. Is it similar to the whole space, or is it unique and different? And as it moves into your body, all the way to your feet, I want you to focus on your heart now. What quality does this truth for you bring to your heart? Do you feel expanded? Do you feel the love? Do you feel strengthened, inspired, comforted? Just notice. There is no wrong, there is no right. And I want you to imagine a greater light in front of you and just see the presence of Jesus Christ. And just take him by the hand. And if you're ready, you can say, please teach me. Teach me of heaven on earth. Teach me of all I need to know. And feel a great love come over you. There is only love. There is only God. There is only light. Feel peace. I want you to take a breath and think of your world now. Think of how it will feel to take this energy into your world. Very gently, bring yourself down the column of light, holding the frequency. We want to bring this energy back into our physical awareness. Feel yourself coming back down the column of light with the Christ, with my truth, what is true for me, with my heart, coming back. And I want you to find yourself sitting on your chair, but feel your energy. Feel that column of light in which you sit, and feel the fullness. I am divine. I am love. And I am ready to enjoy my journey on this planet. I am divine and I am love. Take a breath and send it out into your physical world. Send it to your home, your work, your people. Send it out. And we thank you, God, for this expansion. And so it is. You can breathe and gently bring yourself back into your body. When you're asking and you're wanting to receive, you can do what we just did. Move into the space of truth and ask for what is true for you. And bring it back. You may not know what you brought back, but the understanding will come. And the next time you get a download from Spirit, whether you're in your car, in your shower, talking to someone, and you feel that energy moving down your body, stop right then. Write it down. Thank God for it. And your friends will understand. Getting a download, let me write this down. They'll understand. Or if they don't, they'll get used to it. But let's give it a go, all right?
Yes.
All right, yay God.
Yay God.